Ladies and gents, welcome back to Articulate with Steve McJones. Today we have one Mr. Michael Hassiepen.
Michael Lewis Hassiepen.
I'm Michael Lewis Hassiepen. How you doing today, sir?
I'm great.
Yeah, we just recorded an entire podcast.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we just did. Yeah. He topped. I topped him. Now he's topping me.
Oh,
Yeah, you know what I mean? We're going back and forth. This is the second round of fucking.
Second round,
you know
dude.
I mean?
Round two. I gotta get my blue pill to get it up this time.
Gotta get that blue chew.
Yeah. Sponsor.
Him. Sponsored by him.
Sponsored by him. So why do you want a Buddhist temple near where you live?
It's just a peaceful thing. Is like, bald non-American people there.
I vibe with bald people all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're American though.
I am. True, I am American.
Yeah, like I don't know. I'm not. It's just it's so peaceful, and you don't hear English.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like there's.
Do you have experience with that?
I was in a kind of a halfway house thing almost 2 years ago, and my mom when she'd visit me would take me to this Buddhist temple in Carmel, New York. And it was like this huge giant fucking movie type shit. Viral movie, you know what I'm saying?
Is your mom a Buddhist?
Nah, but she put me on.
She put you on.
She did yoga and put me on Jack Cornfield.
Okay.
In general, you're given a concept. The concept is you're enough. You're enough. You got to be present, and you got to do meditation, and you got to do just shut the fuck up and just stop judging everying. Shit. When shit happens to you, it's probably not anyone's fault. It just happens.
Right.
For a
it's just
variety of it's just it's a calmer way of thinking, and also it's not like you're thinking there's a looming apocalypse that's gonna happen because too many people are being transgender or something. That's why I don't vibe with Christianity, and and I have a lot of Christian friends. I even though I don't vibe with the concepts of Christianity, I have a lot of Christian friends because if you surround yourself with people who it doesn't have to be religious, but at least believe in a set of virtues and values. And I happen to have a lot of friends that have virtues and values, and that's because they're Christian. And that helps with just having better friends. And a lot of those people happen to be Christian. I don't agree with that mentality, but I'm not saying it's not okay to be atheist, but it certainly helps have values and at least be open to the concept of what these religions and shit offer. It's not even a religious thing. It's a moral and value thing, and I think that people need that. And I don't think it's right to just kind of go around the earth with not believing in a set of morals of. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because then you're an anarchist almost. Or you could be an evil person and feel no guilt for it.
Yes, and it's I'm not saying everybody should pick their own religion, but I'm saying that everybody should have their own they at least buy into some concepts of either a religion or spiritual. There's Taoism. Taoism is not a religion, sort of. It's a philosophy or a set of philosophies. They agree with. And that could be some fucking online influencer who makes you believe a certain amount of things, but at least you're believing something. You believe in a set of principles and values. That's what that's the type of people I want to be around who don't just do things for no reason. They have a concept of why am I doing this? Why am I making a movie? Why am I making music? What's the purpose behind it? I like to be around people with a purpose and And I'm not saying that they have ego, but more just they like to do things and they have values.
Yeah,
that
for sure.
support them what they do.
Yeah, I think I do think that some atheists can have values, but they have to establish it themselves. There's this one thing that I heard from Bo Burnham, if you know who he is.
I know, but I like him. Yeah,
I like
awesome.
him a lot. But he there was one time where he was defending that he was an atheist, because. One thing that he found that all of the arguments when he would bring up that he was an atheist, people would bring up, you're yeah, but you think that, what are the odds of, all of this just, happening, and the fact that this one planet, and then it developed from nothing, and then it turned into, intelligent life, what are the odds of that even happening? That there has to be some bigger thing happening. And Bo's kind of retort to that was, yeah, but I think it's more special if it was just random. You know what I mean? If it was just
and that's what I believe too. I get what he's getting at. I'm just kind of saying that that the reason I'm Buddhist is because it's kind of like it's not like I would consider it kind of a godless religion because there's no like it's just kind of a science of the mind. That's how it's kind of described.
Ooh, yeah, I mean, I don't know. How deep have you gotten into Buddhism? Because I don't think because there's levels to it. You know what I mean? There's levels to, at least from what I understand, is that it's not necessarily godless, but the the thing that they put at the top of the hierarchy is more so like in Christianity they put God at the top, right? But the thing in like Buddhism or from Taoism, I read more into Taoism actually, but what they put at the top is this concept of everything. You know what I mean? Of the yin and the yang. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not just nothing, right? But it's an actual thing that is influencing all parts of this world. So there's still a thing at the top. And if you really break it down, if you break Christianity down, it kind of says the same thing, but through a different lens. Um, so it's not. I get what you're getting at. Like, there's godlessness, but like the concept that I've come through, if you know Alan Watts, he's like a philosopher, spirituality person, kind of up there with like Ram Dass, if you've ever heard that
Yeah,
name.
like Ramdas.
Yeah, 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 yeah. He, he said the deepest philosophical realization that he's ever had was the concept of nothingness that he got from Eastern culture, which isn't it's not just nothingness, right? But it's the fact it's no thing. So it's the idea that there is something, and that all has to come from nothing, and from nothing something has. So he even
Yeah.
traces it back from the Big Bang, right? It's like there has to be because there was nothing, something happened. You know what I mean? And same as a concept with your life. You're gonna be nothing. You were nothing, and then you became something, and then you're nothing again.
It's a
And
cycle.
yeah,
Cyclical.
it is cyclical. Yeah,
Cyclical.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Cyclical.
I like the Terrence McKenna thing where he's like the universe is fractal.
Fractal.
Fractal, I think that means like patterns or some shit like that. Like where it's
Mhm.
like the universe is like a pattern
Mhm.
in the or it's like or the Hindu thing with samsara, the cycle, or some shit like that.
It's all a cycle, dude. It's all cyclical for sure. Which kind of gives me some peace. I think because you can put it on these mass scales, right? Of like, the climate is cyclical, or human life, or life in itself is cyclical, or the universe is cyclical, right? But then you can also bring it back to these like much smaller scales of like applying it to your life, right? Like when you start a creative project or a movie, Jesus.
Gee, mine. D, mine.
But when you start like a creative project, there's the idea, that's the concept that like comes to you, and
Yeah.
then the process of the work going through it,
Bam.
and then making it a thing, and then the process of putting it together after it's been made, and then the process of putting it out.
Yeah.
Same with emotions, right? You have winter where people get very depressed, right? You get very depressed,
Yeah.
and then spring comes around, and you get like kind of excited, and you're more extroverted, and you want to like talk to people. You want to go out and do the whole thing. You have summer where you feel like you're vibing, and then you kind of have fall where you start to kind of get ready for being depressed. But there's like the hookup culture at that time. It's like what do they call it?
Yeah.
Cuffing season.
He's cuffing season.
Cuffing season.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then you get sad again in the winter. You know what I mean?
And the winter, yeah, like winters have always been this kind of like period of like humans, like, got to get ready for winter, or the winter of, Stalingrad. It's going to be rough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going to be real rough.
It's
and
gonna
rough.
be real tough.
Yeah, like I like that thing where it's like, people now, the concept, like people now think like we're so different from people back then. I was in a
Right.
philosophy class, and he was like, what do you guys like to do on the weekends? And we're like, I was taking it in the fall, and he was like, fucking watch football. And it was like the Romans, they watched two people beat the shit out of each other, or like a group of people fighting against each other. Sometimes there was teams, and there would be bets on which person was gonna win. There would be announcers at the games
Yeah.
that would announce stuff before the games and after.
Right.
And there would be special people in the crowd that you would look up to when they showed the games. The king or the queen, but now it's
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
Taylor Swift.
Now Taylor Swift.
It's like everything is this fucking the same. Or where would you go after the game? You go to a bar.
Yeah.
You go to the fucking tavern or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
It's all
It's all
the same. Everything manifests in different ways over time.
People think that people back then were so stupid. It's like, bro, do you know about Socrates? Have you
Yeah.
heard of one Plato before?
Yeah, Plato's The Allegory of the Cave by Plato.
Allegory of the
It is
Cave.
literally the Matrix.
Yeah.
But like
he figured it out. Yeah.
2,000 years ago. Like, there was a Matrix movie before like literally
movies were created.
Yeah, movies were created. There was literally an entire Matrix movie.
Yeah.
Fucking like story. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I fucking love history. Yeah, and it's like the Buddhism shit. Like I'm trying to be Buddhist. I want to say I am Buddhist. I'm trying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know much about it yet. And
well, you said you're 20, right?
Yeah, I'm 20.
So I mean, I'm not downplaying your age, and of course, there's plenty of 20-year-olds who understand like deeper concepts in religion and stuff, and I'm sure you have a deep understanding. But I mean, at least for me and my experience, and from people that I've talked to. Like, one of the reasons I started this podcast when I was 21, it's called Articulate, because when I turned 21, I started having all of these, like, bigger realizations, you know what I mean? These bigger concepts that, like, I just understood, like, on an emotional level, that things that would just smack me in the face, that, you can think about on a logical level. Like, you can understand what Buddhism is,
Yeah.
but you can't really like feel or understand what it means, you know what I mean, to you, I guess. So I mean, like I said, I'm not trying to downplay, but like that concept of no thing that I was talking about from Alan Watts before.
I love that, yeah.
Yeah, like I had heard that from Ram Dass probably about 2 years ago, and that concept to me was like basically Ram Dass in that lecture, he kind of goes through the idea of layers of consciousness, starting with like physical appearance. So it's like, oh, there's an old man or a young person or a large, small, whatever, and then from there it's okay, the emotion. Okay, you're an angry person, you're a happy person, you're a sad person or whatever. Okay, what's the next level? And then the next level being like, okay, you can categorize people based on their personality traits. So it's like, oh, okay, you're a driven person. Okay, you're a depressed person. You're so, and then the next level from there is like categorizing people based on kind of like astrology personalities, right? It's like, okay, you're a Virgo, you're a Taurus or whatever. And then from there, the next level, this is where it starts to get interesting for me, is when instead of seeing all these things, you see yourself, you see another version of you. You become so empathetic that, oh, that's basically me. Like you're just another person on the same layer that I'm on. And then he's like, but let's switch the flip it again. And then you realize that you are both not just two different people that are the same person. You are both one. And
dichotomy.
Yeah. And then he says, let's flip it again. And then everything is just everything. Everything is just the face. And then if you get even more, one last flip, you realize it's all the void. And when I saw that, and when you hear it now, it's like, I don't know what that means, bro. Like, I don't understand what the void is, but I know it means something to him. And this guy has done the research. He's been through the path. He's done the journey. You know what I mean? And so for him to say that, and then recently for me to read Alan Watts, that was the conclusion of his autobiography, that is the deepest realization that he can get to. It's like, okay, there's something here, first of all. And I think I'm starting to kind of understand it. But point being is like, as much as you want to understand some things, I think some things just have to come with time and experience,
Yeah, and like the time to find the time to get the experience.
True.
To learn what you want to learn.
Yeah, which I wasn't even able to go on this journey until, post college.
Yeah, like everybody's
so much time.
Yeah, like you tell this person somebody that's like working like it's hard to like even begin finding this shit. Like I didn't even start this until I was like rock bottom.
Oh, you know what I mean? You have to get to rock bottom
to start even like to start reading like a Jack Kornfield book or a Ram Dass lecture or a fucking Terrence McKenna lecture exactly. That's when you kind of start to like learn about yourself. Or
would you be willing to open up about your rock bottom?
Yeah.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
All right, yeah. So I started like the podcast thing like a while ago. I was like 2019.
Okay.
Like it's officially when it started, and it was cool. It was good. I was doing shit.
Pollute your soul.
Pollute your soul, yeah. And it was fun. I was interviewing like a lot of rappers and like shit, like locally.
That's cool.
Like and online as well.
Sure.
It was fun. You know, I met a lot of good characters, but a lot of them were like bad influences, and I got kind of like wrapped up in like a kind of like delusional state of like rapping of you know, I still rap, but I actually have intention of what I'm rapping about, like quote unquote political or like meaningful or personal. But back then I was kind of like focused on this like kind of false persona of like being a gangster or something like that. And I ended up in high school kind of starting to sell drugs and do just scummy shit. Like first off, I was horrible at selling drugs.
Yeah.
Like I got robbed like 3 times
Jesus
probably.
Christ. Yeah.
Or just and then I started like, you know, once you start selling drugs, right? And then your ego becomes so high, you think you're like untouchable, and like, you know, you start to like get more pussy and shit, and then eventually it's like you get robbed, and then you start to get like really angry at yourself. You start to contemplate like, why am I doing this? What's going on? Like, you know, even though it's like just weed and a little bit extra stuff, you know, not gonna name. You know, you start to like contemplate like, why am I doing this? And then you start to like kind of take fake breaks. That's what I did. I was like, I'm done. And then you go right back into it because the adrenaline of doing something you're not supposed to do. Or, like getting traced. Like I one time I had my friend drive me to a deal, and I got chased by a crackhead.
Damn.
I wasn't selling crack, by the way. And then so no, I actually wasn't selling crack, but I did get chased by a crackhead. It was just random. It had nothing to do with the deal.
But I mean, but you know, when you're in that situation,
it was so fucking fun.
Yeah.
But the other person that was driving me was like traumatized.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But I, you know, I couldn't see that. I couldn't kind of like comprehend that.
Yeah.
And then so then I would do all this shit and go back to like making podcasts and having a good time and doing my art. But I started to just keep making less and less and less and less. And what I would make was just shit. And then eventually, I didn't give up, but I kind of gave up. And then I went back into dealing and all that stuff and just being around scummy people. I kind of had like bad issues with like family, so I would look to like older kind of, I wouldn't say guys, but masculine figures, because women can be masculine.
Sure.
And women were, I was around a lot of masculine women, or just guys that were older than me.
Yeah.
That would convince me to do stuff.
Within your family?
No, not my family. But like people in school or around school, and that they influenced me to do stuff for them, and that, you know, basically the dealing got worse. And once you get robbed, you start to like have this animosity towards anybody. So then I started doing that to people. I would steal from them or scam them.
Oh wow.
Or something like that. And then eventually, like, I was starting to work a lot too, like at a UPS store. So that didn't help my mental health at all, because that shit sucks.
Yeah.
That
shit's garbage. You just fuck up your back and your legs.
Yeah.
And your knees.
It was so bad. And I just wasn't going to school. And also, education post-COVID fucking sucks. They don't give a fuck.
No, not at all.
Most school, like, especially in the public school system, which is what I was in, you fucking are late to school, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They just like, okay, I was late probably like 75 days.
Jeez.
Or absent like 50 days of the school year of senior year.
Yeah.
And also, like, if you get, like, there's no concept of like punishment or getting in trouble. Like, I got in a fight, nothing happened.
Damn.
Because everybody and I graduated with the shittiest grades.
Yeah.
Like with like a couple F's and shit.
Damn, but they still let you graduate.
They just wanted people to graduate.
Just get them out.
Like,
damn.
Yeah, because it was right after COVID, so like they don't want to hold. I should have been held back.
Right.
I should have been held back. I should not have graduated high school. I'm telling you, my first 2.5 years of high school, I had pretty good grades. I was in writing club. I started film club in school.
Damn.
I was a astute student. And then
yeah,
coronavirus happened, and my social, I was basically in my room smoking weed and making podcasts, which was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it helped me kind of get to where I am creatively.
Yeah.
But it fucked my whole life up. And people are gonna talk about like how like years from now, because like I feel like as an adult, I don't really know. I feel like everybody get hurt from corona, but mostly children hurt the most from coronavirus because like when you're
they're the most impactful.
It was the most because like emotions are like 10 times hit as harder when you're younger than when they do when you're older, because when you're older you kind of like you're able to take shit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yes, I agree.
It's just a whole. So when you're 16 and you're like getting like a lot of like not a lot, but I was getting a little bit of pussy, sure. and you're like you know, social, you have friends, you're in clubs, and then you're fucking locked in your house, like eating and like smoking weed.
Right.
Like
it's a completely opposite lifestyle.
It sucks. It fucking sucks.
Yeah.
So then eventually I would always try and start to make a movie, and nothing would happen because nobody around me was interested in that shit.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
So it just sucked. Right, and then my friends just kind of like when you start acting like less empathetic, your friends just started to just get away from you. They just like slowly. No friends. Sure. Until I only really had one friend left, and now we're not friends after what happened. I was involved in an armed robbery. Yeah. I'm just gonna say involved.
Right.
And as soon as it happened, I just knew I was fucked. But after, well, first off was the adrenaline and the rush and the blasting of music and the counting of the money, and then eventually it's just like, I'm fucked.
Right.
I'm totally fucked.
Shit catches up to you.
Yeah, that fear. I've never felt scarier in my life than after I did that shit.
Damn, yeah.
I'm tearing up. No, yeah, I've never felt like scared in my fucking life. And then, you know, I just drove to a family member's house. I almost states away, and I was like, I'm fucked. I just told like my family everything. And then I decided to check myself into a mental hospital.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, you know,
it was that bad, huh?
Yeah.
Damn.
So then I got kicked out of the first hospital. I went
for what? For being a fuckboy?
Nah, yeah, let's just say that.
Okay.
Not really, but like I was just bullying. Like I was like making jokes I shouldn't have. Like you can't like
you can't
when
be
you're
a class clown in the fucking mental institution.
You can't.
Yeah.
Like I was acting how I did in high school. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
You're there to get better. And then I went to this other place in Connecticut, and it was kind of like a halfway house type of thing. But they made you go to group therapy 5 days a week, 4 hours a day.
Damn.
And also have like a one-on-one sessions.
Shit.
And they kind of got...
That probably helps walk you through some shit, huh?
Yeah. They also did like meditation too.
Oh, hell yeah.
So so they had different groups for like therapy and shit.
Yeah.
So they had like I'm bisexual, so they had a LGBTQ related therapy. Like, so I had to conquer my internal homophobia. So like I hated the fact that I was like half, you know, I hated the fact that I was bisexual. Like I hated it. Sure. Like I like and it made me
especially being around like rappers and like, you know, the rap community hates homosexuality
and drug dealers too.
And drug dealers.
Like you know, I was like pressured into acting more masculine than I actually am.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because like, you know, I'm not like I'm not ripped with abs here. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like, you know, I'm a little tall, but I'm not like crazy. You know what I mean? Like I was acting like somebody I wasn't.
Sure, yeah.
You know, and I was like carrying around like knives and shit. It's like I don't want to carry a knife on me. Like you know, I fucking stabbed myself a couple times because it popped open in my pocket. I was like, ah, like, you know, and I was crying and shit. So that shit was ass. And then I go to this place and they're like, you know, you're okay.
Yeah.
Just be who you want. You know what I mean? And they even have these exercises where you can like you have to like imagine somebody that did you wrong in front of you, and you have to like forgive them and shit. And you know they have someone play the person that did you wrong and shit like that.
Right.
So then there was that. There was like body image group where it's like it's like for people who hate how they look.
Yeah.
And they like kind of taught me like, you know, you're okay, you're valid.
Sure.
It's, you know, you should probably they're not saying like
they're not telling you you're healthy.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're not telling you you're healthy, but they're telling you like it's like okay to just like look how you look.
Right.
You know what I mean? And maybe, you know, and then we also went into like, you know, routines and shit. Like you had to wake up at 8:30. You had to like, you know, if you weren't showering, they'd talk to you about it or some shit. You know, like they didn't tolerate no bullshit as well. And there's curfews and shit like that.
For sure.
And it was very rigorous. Then there's depression group. You know, obviously goes into depression.
Yeah.
And bipolar group went into that. And it was just like, you know, months of this shit. And then eventually I was like, fuck, I'm gonna have to turn myself in. So then I turned myself in to the police, and then they let me go 4 hours later. Damn. on bond, and then the trial happened, and I had like a couple months before the trial to like get my life ready.
Sure.
By when I was back home from Connecticut.
Right.
So what I did, I started a community college, I got a job, and I continued group therapy at home, and you know what I mean, and everything was just so much better. My life was, you know, very organized and shit like that. School was good. I was making friends.
Yeah.
And then they gave me mercy.
Really? Yeah, I mean,
2 years probation.
Because they see that you're putting in that effort. You know what I mean? They see that you're putting in the effort to have like a regular, normal life, and you're not slipping back into like the criminal underworld. You know what I mean? So the fact that that was a real good move to, you know, between the bond posting and the trial to like have all that shit set up. You know?
It wasn't dishonest. It was like I really wanted to go to school.
Yeah.
I really wanted to say, like, I'm not like who I was in the senior year. You know what I mean? Like I'm a good student when I want to be, you know? And also another good motivation to be a good student is when you're paying for it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like oh, like you know, I'm paying for this shit. I can't waste my time here. You know?
Yeah, exactly. No, that's definitely a big fucking learning moment too. Like, so in the mental hospitals, the halfway house is what you called it. How big was that, first of all?
I would call it PHP, a partial hospitalization program. But you know, whatever. Halfway house, same thing.
Sure.
You said what?
How big was it? Like, how many people were you in there with?
5.
5 people?
5, but it was a series of houses that all met up at one location for the therapy.
Oh, okay.
So I met some crazy I met like this Illuminati dude. Like his dad was like a $200 million net worth. You know what I mean? Like, and he went to Yale and shit like that. And but you know,
sure.
He was cool, but he would make these jokes like yeah, bro, like I can't jerk off and I can only come if I'm like fucking like a Cuban hooker or something like that. And he'd be like, and it would, in the moment you're like, but then you're like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, and he's like, are you serious? And like, yeah, like I can only ejaculate during sex. I can't, like, if I jerk off, I cannot come.
That's crazy.
And he's also just an addict. Like he loved Adderall and cocaine and shit like that. And so I met like a bunch of people like that. I met like there was this like schizophrenic dude who just wouldn't speak to anybody, and he ate like cold clam chowder.
Group therapy must have been crazy, bro.
But it was you know, do you realize you're not that different from these type of people in your own way?
Yeah.
Like I would, you know, have a lot of thoughts and I also have a lot of tests too. Sure. And these tests kind of show like when your character can change, and also when there's people that are worse around you. It kind of does, and this is probably bad, but it makes you feel better about yourself.
Yeah.
But the tests to really get you is just like, you know, when are you gonna be tempted? Like, first off, another temp is people just like doing like sneaking shit in front of me, like drugs, like beer. I would see it done in front of me, and I was like, you know, that was a test. I was like, don't do this. Yeah. I can't do this because I'm gonna get in trouble, and also I don't want to do this because it's gonna stop my growth.
Right.
So then that's the test, and then eventually. The tests got even more rigorous. Mm-hmm. There was an elderly man that was in front of a gas station that I would frequent because this dude was like, this dude who'd been through a lot in life would give me advice, and we just talk for like a couple hours at a time. He's also a filmmaker, an actor, so he would give me advice on that too. So on the way to the station, there's this old dude, and he goes up to me. He's like, "Yo, like, you know, can you go get this lottery ticket from me? I'll give you some money, and you go get the lottery ticket and." All this shit, and I'm like, yeah, sure, you know, I don't want to make you walk all the way to the fucking thing, you know, I'll do it. Right. So then he opens his, baggie, and it's like so much fucking money.
Damn.
Like probably, I would say probably like $1,500 in it. And he gives me a $20 bill, and then you know, I take the $20 bill, I get the lottery ticket he wanted, and I give it back to him. Have a good day, sir. And that's it.
That's
I didn't. That was a test. The test was like. You know, don't fucking, you know, don't rob this old geezer. Yeah. You know, he just wants a lottery ticket.
Sure.
He just wants to wait. Let him waste his money in peace, okay?
Did they set these tests up, or are these things that you're just like, oh, that was a test?
That was a test.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like a, you know, it's a moment that happened, and I consider it to be a test because it really kind of allowed for me room to
Yeah.
grow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like you were really good at these tests, bro. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know because since I don't know what you were like throughout the whole downfall and the spiral and everything, but it sounds like ever since the one moment of coming back from that armed robbery, it seemed like you were pretty vigilant in your quest to become a better individual after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not about like being the best person you can be.
Okay.
It's about like being as good as you can when a shitty situation happens.
Yeah.
Let's say you had a dog, you get run over by a car.
Yeah. That's a shitty situation.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you gonna do? Beat the shit out of the guy who ran him over, or are you just gonna like take it as it is and just fucking bury the dog?
Mm-hmm.
Remember the good memories you had with the dog. That's really all you can do.
Yeah, and be the best you can be.
Best you can be in that moment. Yeah, exactly. So
Right.
that's what you that's what you got to do. Is just like you got to just react well to things.
Sure. Yeah, and I think kind of tying it to the kind of how you said you had to get to that rock bottom to have these the time to like subject yourself to these bigger concepts of right and wrong, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or presence, or being here, enjoying what you can or whatever. I think one of those realizations also, and I had this conversation with Izzy, who was the special effects person
She came on here?
Hunter. Yeah, she was
Fuck
here. Yeah, but I had this conversation with her as well. Is like sometimes you have to. It takes you to hit rock bottom to find a creative outlet that really grabs you. You know what I mean? I don't know how much you've been into like film and the movie storytelling.
Go into it?
Yeah. We could go into that, but I just think that sometimes you have to really get to a place where you have no other option, right? Like in college, I was at my lowest and I didn't have any friends, and I was like, what I can do is put these emotions into a script, and that's when I started screenwriting.
Yeah, that's good.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So how did that play out for you?
So when I got back, first off, when I was in, I was able to actually get studio time and go to a music studio. Somehow I convinced them to take me to a music studio while I was at this house. And I ended up recording a bunch of songs and doing podcasts.
Yeah.
Just not releasing them. I couldn't release anything. So I was just doing it because I loved it. Nobody was able to listen to it except for like other inmates. Not inmates, or patients. Patients,
right.
yeah. So I was still being creative.
Yeah.
And it really helped me like get in my fucking bag.
Yeah.
And make good shit, make good scripts, make good, podcasts, make good music, and write good lyrics. Fucking. So when I got back, I started to hit up open mics and just like fucking rap, do spoken word poetry, do what I can.
Yeah.
Fucking classes were good too. English class was good. And that helped me meet some smart people who wanted to make good art and shit. And fucking eventually, there's this good community in Delaware. You notice you have the punk community in Delaware. You have the rap community in Delaware. You got the art, like spoken word, and sort of comedian, communities. All these artistic communities in Wilmington and Newark, and then there's the film communities in the lower parts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I started to become friends with like a bunch of local SoundCloud rappers, but these were different from the rappers I knew in high school that were like, not the best people to be around. These were more nicer people.
Yeah.
And they weren't enablers. They were actually making shit for the love of it.
Yeah.
And so I found people that were good people, great artists to work with, and not enablers. So then we start to, make music, hang out. I'm going to studios. I become friends with the owner of Wonderland Records. I record there every now and then. And
Nice.
I start to do performances in other people. I even did a versus battle with someone.
Oh, shit.
You know what I mean? Like, it was fun. And I'm putting out music, and everybody's loving it.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I get back into screenwriting. And I start to do some more PA work on films locally.
Here, yeah, Hunter.
In Philly and Delaware, because, Philly is where there's more work, but it is what it is. So then I'm like, okay, if I'm doing an assistant on the show, I can do my own thing. So I start to work on my own short film about, porn addiction. And it's not, the point of the movie is not don't jerk off.
Yeah.
Okay, like that's not realistic. Everybody's gonna beat their meat.
Right.
The point is to show how being obsessive over porn and jerking off can affect young people's lives and make them antisocial. It's more about like being antisocial, having unrealistic expectations for love, and what that can do to a young person who wants to be accepted and wants to be loved and wants pleasure, and how that can affect people, and specifically social media, and how like certain conversations you can have with people can fuck you up for no reason. Like just one text can really fuck up your day.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's what the movie is about. The movie isn't some Christian masterpiece on why
jerking off.
Yeah,
is bad.
jerking off is bad, and,
Yeah.
and it's like fuck that.
Yeah, and it's also not some like smut film about like a guy jerking off the whole time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Nothing like that.
It's more about putting yourself out there.
Okay.
It's more as and being social and not kind of being in your room.
Cocoon.
Oh, yeah, your cocoon. It's
Right.
about that's what it's about. It's not about don't beat your meat. It's about if you do it too much, or
If you do anything too much,
it'll just fuck you up. And specifically something that like what do they call it?
Demoralize.
It demoralizes you,
Mhm.
and also it fucking it makes people look less. It makes women look less.
Oh yeah.
It sexualizes people too.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to hit with the movie. If it didn't hit, it is what it is.
Sure.
We'll get them in the next movie. You know what I mean? Like, that's all you can do. But I think I did a pretty good job, and we'll see when it's done editing. I'm gonna try. I'm trying to make it as the soundtrack's gonna be fun. That's the benefit of being a podcaster, is like you kind of know a lot of musicians and stuff like that, and so I'm trying to make the soundtrack, pretty punk rock, pretty cool like underground rap and shit like that. So I want people to have a good time watching it. I tried to make it funny.
Yeah.
That's what I tried to do. I don't know if I'm a funny person, so
Yeah.
hopefully my personality helps make it fun to watch.
You're definitely a goon, at least.
I'm a
At
goon,
least, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm a goon. That's what people were saying on the set as I was
Oh,
saying funny shit.
Well, sure, man. Yeah, and I mean, there's a strong, I don't know. There's different types of funny. That's all I'm saying. But I'm pretty sure. Yeah, whatever. I mean, with the subject matter, I'm sure there were probably multiple angles you could take with it. And I know you're trying to be serious with it, but I'm sure you also were pretty fun with it too.
Everybody was laughing their ass off on set. Everybody was just like, because one time I had to describe a line that somebody was saying because somebody improvised a line that had the N-word in it.
Yeah.
So I was like, so Spark, please say the line, and then I'd say like the entire line, and then when it reached the N-word, I would be like, then say that word I cannot say. This says this, and then he says, you stupid, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, so everybody's just laughing their ass off and fucking, it was so fucking fun.
Yeah.
It was a really fun time. And
nice.
I would encourage anybody that like is interested in, being a filmmaker is do some PA shit, fucking work for free. Stop thinking like people gotta understand like you don't gotta get paid for everything when you're like work. Like, and also
at the
whole
beginning,
movie,
for sure.
the whole movie, nobody got paid for anything while making my movie. I'm not bragging here. The next one, I'm obviously gonna try and pay people.
Right.
Actually, my next one, I'm not, but the next one.
Right.
But like when you're doing like, you shut the fuck up and be humble, okay?
Yeah.
Like, and when making anybody, if you're doing a podcast, if you're doing tattoos,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like start for free. People start to fuck with you, and then start to charge.
And then start to charge.
But also, the more shit you do for free, the more that it means you really like it. Maybe that's stupid ideology because everybody's trying to like fucking. I can make controllers, so I'm like, I'm gonna make money selling controllers, and it's like, do you really want to be making a controller? Probably not. You're just trying to find something and exploit it.
You can make money, yeah.
Everybody's trying to exploit stuff, and I especially hate when people are trying to exploit like art or exploit something within art. Like, I'm gonna make this because people are going to look at it. No, like, why don't you think about like what you want to do with it? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but where's the line is my question, because that's where I feel like I am at. Being 25, I need to start building, I need to start building a career, right? With this stuff. And so I've been podcasting for 5+ years, right? And it's like, at what point do I start So for me, it was always like, bro, I'm not gonna exploit this. I hate hashtags. I'm never gonna hashtag anything, right? Like I'm not gonna put
Yeah.
hashtags on this. I'm not gonna pay for ads. You know what I mean? I'll just like, put the thing out there and just see if it does well because I like what I'm doing with it. Like I enjoy it. But, also at some point it's like I haven't seen anything really come of the work that I've been putting in for it. And so it's not saying that I really want to like sell out 100%, and not that I even could at
Yeah.
this stage or whatever. But somebody put it this way: it's like where you could almost start to like cash in a little bit on the work that you've been doing, and that's not completely selling out. But if your idea of cashing in or selling out is putting a hashtag on your Instagram, post, it's not that
Yeah,
bad.
that's
You
not
know what I
bad.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but and you could take that line up to, maybe getting a paid ad isn't really that bad. It's like I understand not wanting to exploit it because that's fucking if you're doing
Yeah, I
it
know what you
just
mean.
for
Yeah.
the bag, then then you become Kevin Hart or whatever. But
Yeah.
but if you're doing it because you love it, then I don't know, that you got to find that line.
Yeah. Good advice to the young artists watching this, or young,
Yeah,
or
we're both
any-
young artists, bro. Just figuring it out.
Sponsored by Fleshlight. Okay.
Sponsored by Fleshlight.
That honestly, I would not mind being sponsored by Fleshlight.
Yeah. I
Get the
wouldn't
new
mind
Violet
being,
My, you know what I mean?
I
Get the
wouldn't
new
be-
Riley Reid.
I wouldn't mind being sponsored by anybody, especially not Fleshlight. Any money coming in.
Any moolah. Yeah.
But I think speaking of Fleshlights, your what's your short film called?
Stroke King.
Stroke King. Okay.
Yeah. So it's he's the king. Okay, let's start from the beginning of where that came from. Came from a Drake line.
Okay.
That's sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry
well,
to the, but he has this line where he's like, Stroke King, because the bumski went to, I don't fucking know. He's saying some cultural appropriation, fucking British
right.
shit does not come from Toronto, Canada,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever place he recorded it. Like it's from funny line, and then also stroke. He's the king of stroking. He loves stroking his meat, and also because it's funny. Because if you combine it, stroking.
Got you. Very
That's why
nice.
it's the title.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's a lot of thought into that for sure.
A lot of thought.
No, I love it, man. Well, yeah. I, to be honest with you, I'm just saying this is probably a good place to wrap up because I feel like we've reached a climax with it. This is how I do my podcast.
An ejaculation.
On ejaculation. No, but we've been through it the ringer together, dude.
We've been through hell and back.
Hell and back, man. Seriously. But I wanted to say, I don't know when that's coming. Do you know when that's coming out?
It's gonna come out when it's done.
Okay.
God, dude.
Ooh, he said when it's done.
God, dude.
Don't fucking ask me. Nah,
I love this though.
that's how I feel. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, where can people find you? Where can people? And apparently, you have music too. Do you want to shout out? You want to do your music thing and do the?
My Instagram is pollute your soul, one word. My other Instagram for music, my quote unquote record label / music group page, whatever, is Inevitable Suffering Official. Because suffering is inevitable.
That's true. That's very true. All right. Well, that's good, man. Well, yeah. Hopefully, people follow him, figure it out, and thanks for coming on, man. This was a good conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is great. I loved coming to Philadelphia. I saw an argument between two people about it. This one guy was screaming, a girl was screaming at a midget and was like, "You gave me herpes!" It was right out of the subway. It's one of the things I'm just glad I
Classic
saw.
Philly, dude. I love this shit. I saw a guy driving around, and he had a mask with two other masks like this, so it looked like he had 3 heads. And they were like, "Yo!" And then, he didn't have anybody as passenger seat, and we were on this side. And he lifts up like a hand that comes out of the window,
fuck?
and it's just driving around like that. It's just classic
That's
Philly.
beautiful.
It's just classic Philly, bro. All right, thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Yeah.